Welcome back to the Union 0430 episode 29. And I said it last week. I've said it the last 2 weeks now that we were going to have someone very special on that not a lot of people know, and especially around these parts. So very, very excited to have Emily Head on with us tonight, an actual female guide. A guide from out west, and she's and you know, some of you guys will know who Emily is because she's a guide with Claudio Ongaro, just like Ryan is a guide with Claudio, and we had Daryl on before. So we keep going with the show. We'll have all of Claudio's guides on before long. So it's awesome. So Emily, thanks for coming on. We'll get into you. Get talking about you here as soon as we introduce the lads. So as usual, just outside the nation's capital, Mark, we got Dave up in Kincardine, Philly down in the dirty Schwa, and Ryan on the east coast of Canada. And we have Emily coming to us from parts unknown in Saskatchewan, because we don't give that out. So Emily, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks to Ryan for doing the legwork and getting you on here and stuff. So it's really awesome, and we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Excited to see my buddy Ryan again and get to chat with you guys. So pretty honored. I get to follow Daryl and Claudio. So
yeah,
kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it is. It's super cool, and it is. I guess we should do a little shout out. Seeing, I know this episode will drop on Monday, which will probably be somewhere around the 15th of November, but it is the 11th of November right now while we're recording. So it is Remembrance Day, and as you can see, the three people that don't serve in the military or never served in the military are wearing a poppy, and the three yahoos that actually did serve in the military aren't wearing poppies. So yeah,
I couldn't tell if Phil was wearing one.
Yeah. I thought he just ate a cheeseburger and some ketchup went horribly wrong on his hoodie there.
Loud and proud, gents. Loud and proud.
And
Don Cherry would be fucking happy to see this.
So hey, Philly, so
Yes,
you don't have to pull your mic up to your mouth when you talk. Like
when I need to affirmative. When I need to accentuate something, yes, I do.
Okay.
You people need to leave Phil alone.
You people?
Just let him go.
Oh wait, that's a year ago.
No, that you people still happening. Emily, I wanted to really kick this off, and I know earlier this week I had asked the fellas, I'm like, listen, Emily's coming on, try and think of what you want to ask her and stuff like that. So I really just want to get the ball rolling, because before we hit, like, you've got a pretty impressive resume. Like, just listening to you talk before we hit the record, like you were a salesperson at a boat dealership, you had a motocross background, you know, like very non-typical of what you would think of for a girl. So like, what was your influences and how far back, like what got you hooked with this bug for the outdoors and stuff?
Well, I would say I was kind of born from a bit of wild and chaos. My dad was a international 6 days racer for factory KTM. So he traveled to Germany, actually won a silver medal. He was 5 seconds from gold. And my mom was the first female ever superbike racer to ever receive and participate in a pro and rank in a pro class race. So she raced all over Japan, France, all over the States. And so, like I said, they actually met at a riding school, and my mom, her dream was to always have a farm and a family. And so here I am, I guess. And like I said, I grew up on a hobby farm, like just such a little wild child. And yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, how I am, why I am how I am, I guess.
That's pretty, that's a badass mom right there.
Yeah.
You know, not taking anything away from your dad, but I think your mom's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. No.
The one thing that I've, being in the military, and I've traveled all around the world, and I've been in screwy places where women aren't really, I guess they're not appreciated, or they're not seen every day doing everyday things like we do here in North America, right? So when new clients come in that have never hunted with you, and they see you, and maybe they don't, maybe nothing strange happens, but do you ever get those looks like when someone sees you the first time and go, oh wait, what? This is my guide? Like, do you actually get?
Yeah, I do. Like, honestly, our clients here at the Waterfowl Lodge are fantastic. I had one client, I remember I always am the last one in from scouting, because I'm like walking around the field with my magnifying glass, feeling all the shit and stuff, but a little manic. But anyway, so I'm always the last one in. So the group arrived, and it was an older gentleman, and they were from down Louisiana, kind of down south. And so anyway, so Daryl says, oh, Emily's just in. Great. She actually lined up a honker hunt for you guys in the morning. She's going to be your guide. And he looks, and he kind of looked to me. He goes, a female guide? And he goes, do we get a discount? And I kind of then look at him and I go, well, I'm going to get a discount if your attitude stays like that, because it's going to be a long day for me, And, just laugh it off, because honestly, like, I don't blame them. Like, growing up, like I said, like, I used to race in the boys class for motocross, and you all look the same, you take your helmet off. I have long blonde hair. Like, I'm used to kind of that looks, but it goes kind of two ways. Like, it either goes, men are like, oh, this is my guide, like, cool. And I'm like, yeah, cool. It's fun. And then other guys are like very doubtful, but at the same time, unfortunately, I understand where their doubt stems from. So all you can do is just have to, like, fishing. Honestly, I've noticed it worse in fishing. I just say to the guys, listen, like, if you want to switch boats, that's fine. Come with me, see how we do. If I don't get you on fish and you don't feel confident in my ability, we'll switch. And guess what? We end up having the best show lunch and having the best time. And, it just, you need to prove, you just got to prove yourself, but that's okay. I'm young as well. So, I like that. I really like it. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I'm glad that it's to hear that for the most part, it's just a little shock, but then they come around. I would hazard to think though that having a tough skin and being able to fire back at them, when just like what that fella did, and to say, well, I don't know, maybe I should be getting a discount. Maybe you should be tipping me even more to deal with you. That's awesome. I know the boys.
Yeah, you have to have thick skin. Like, I don't know, growing up, like, hate to say it, but I was an ugly duckling growing up. Like, I kind of always felt out of place. Like, my fingernails were really, really dirty. Like, I was always looking for worms, like foraging berries in the schoolyard. Like, I was always like that weird kid, And so, like, I kind of like felt, now that I've kind of grown up a bit and I'm more comfortable, like, it's just, I'm able to deal with it so much better, because I'm used to people being ruthless. So it's just, they're paying me. So, it's at the end of the day, it's like, you can go for another guide and I can sleep in and scout, but you're probably going to regret it. So I'll share with Ryan.
Let's share with Ryan. No, and that's awesome, because I think having a fair amount of confidence is key as well, right? And that's a huge key in order to be successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think working with Emily for last season, I know how much pressure she puts on herself, and I don't know if it's because of your gender and your stature. Like you're like 5'1" if you're wearing thick-soled boots, and you might weigh 110 pounds. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
you're not like So, and I think I know who you're talking about when you say about the guy from the
Yeah.
south there, but if
Yeah.
I do remember correctly, they had a pretty good hunt. You guided, yeah. First impressions, kind of probably people are like kind of taken back because Emily's she's not the most intimidating person, but she's not a bouncer. She's a guide. She's a good one. She can get the job done. That's all that matters at the end of the day, right? It doesn't matter what you look like or what you come across. And I can tell you for a fact that those guys, when they left, they were talking about how well the job she did and how many birds they hung up on the board that day, which is this is all they're going to remember. And maybe like the fact that Emily didn't shut up, but whatever.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, from what you say, Ryan, if someone can't make it there as a guide, they don't stay as a guide.
No, that's just it. And like, no, they don't care. Like nobody cares about your background or how good or bad of a goose caller you are. At the end of the day, if you're not a killer, you're not going to last, because that's what people pay to come. They come to shoot 100 snows or to shoot a 5-man limit of specs. If you can't execute on that, you're just not going to last. You can't find a hunt and can't produce, you're just not going to last. So at the end of the day, nobody gives a crap about what your gender is or what your skin color is, or if you're from buttfuck Nova Scotia or like Ontario or wherever. They don't give a shit.
They're not paying to see you or hear you call, whatever. They're paying to shoot birds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
that's what I like about it. The results speak for themselves. That's what I love about guiding. Like you don't need to say a damn word.
Yeah, good point. Emily, again, so and I don't want to beat to death this whole fact that you're a female and you're in somewhat of a male dominated world, but we're seeing more and more, and it's awesome. It's good for the sport. It's good for the industry, everything. We're seeing more and more women coming out. We're seeing more and more young girls now actually tagging along with their dads and going out and doing stuff that you would never have seen, 10, 15 years ago. But you're actually seeing a lot of girls getting involved into it now. And at that young age, it seems like they're doing it for all the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like they love being outside. They love hunting. They love getting dirty. All of that good stuff. But now it seems that there's a bunch of girls that they feel that they need to be TNA in order to promote themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what, like, am I coming across on, like, am I getting
No,
my point?
no, I totally get what you're saying. And I'll be honest, it can be frustrating as a female guide. Like, Ryan's seen firsthand, like, I hate to, like you said, I hate to use the word female, but it is different. Like, let's not deny it. It is different. But like, I hate knowing that, like, for me to start guiding, like I started out as a fishing guide and I gave up everything. Like I remember giving my last 2 months notice in my apartment, like, being on my last dime, like getting a job at a lodge, like just like, to be honest, nobody approved of what I was going to do. Like my whole family's like, if you do this, you're on your own. Like, and so for myself, it's been so many blood, sweat, and tears to get to where I am that it does kind of make me laugh when you see like, I hate to drag name, a bow tech, for example, throwing out bows to all these people that maybe they're not necessarily, how do I say it? It's like, it's more of like an image thing. And like, that's totally fine. Like my best friend, my cousin, is a professional makeup artist. Like I let her transform me all the time. Like, don't get me wrong, but I truly believe like there's a time and place. And like, when you're actually out there doing it, and I mean like every day, like I don't say you have to do it every day, but for me, there's not a day I miss where I'm not doing something hunting related. And like, I don't have time to worry about my appearance because that's on the back burner. You know what I'm trying to say? But like,
I get you.
but if you notice, like, I don't know, a part of myself, I remember one time looking back, thinking, well, how is it fair that these girls that maybe come from some money or, have someone in their life that hunts, that throw them behind the camera, are able to get these things? But if you look back on their profiles, like, I quite honestly, I find it quite narcissistic. And a lot of these people were kind of like that already. Like, if you look, like, I've never wanted to take a selfie. Like, I don't know, like, for myself, just, I've never been like, oh, I look so pretty, let me just, like, I just, oh, cool, a worm, like, this worm's 6 inches long, like, I don't know, like, like, and so that's just not me. But you see these girls that are doing all this marketing and Instagram stuff, they were kind of on that bandwagon, on the self-righteous, on the selfies, on the, what piercing do I look cutest with virtually, like, if they're already doing that stuff, so they just threw the hunting in there and they're making a dime off of it. So we should really shame the companies, I guess, that are promoting this rather than the girls taking advantage of it, because I would too, like, if you could.
Yeah, no, and I guess I guess from my point, sorry, Dave, I want to get this. I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to jealousy, because I like to get pretty every once in a while as well, but nobody wants to look at pictures of me wearing a bikini and bend over my boat or anything like that, right?
Sex sells, and like, as long as we can remember, sex sells, and there's nothing, unfortunately, it just has leaked its way into the hunting industry because of social media, because it's so easy to make a TikTok jumping in your Sitka gear pretending you're going hunting, and it's so easy to do your makeup and perceive this, like, this image that's not actually happening. Like, it's so easy, so it's just, people just take advantage of it, like, they just all want to be the best.
The thought of Damien in a bikini just made me vomit it in my mouth.
Yeah, I was about to say we got to take
In
a
the
break
mic.
from this episode. And
Yeah.
Maybe
No.
we got to do a photo shoot, buddy.
eye
Yeah.
bleach. We need eye bleach.
No, remember those? Remember that lumberjack dude about a year ago done all those pictures of him out in the woods, and he's wearing like the Daisy Dukes and it was awesome. And the guy's got a total dad bod too, right? And it's just
Nothing wrong with the dad bod.
Oh no,
That's kind of
Nothing.
That's called Molson Muscle, bud.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to make it seem like I totally 100% disapprove of what some girls are doing. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is the fact that, listen, if you are a hunter, and if you're trying to perceive yourself as a hunter or a gatherer or whatever it is that you're trying, then show you hunting, show you doing the thing that you're trying to perceive yourself as opposed to showing just cute pictures of yourself.
No, and I completely agree. And like I said, like, I'm on, I flip back and forth. Like, I flip to, like, wow, this is really damaging to our industry. Like, why do we need to take pictures of putting corn? Like, why is the standard, like, you look on a girl's page, it's like putting corn out, checking cams. Like, I've been hunting like all season, and I haven't, but like I said, that's just me. Maybe I'm a little different. Maybe I just don't, like, I just like killing stuff. Like, I'll post on Instagram, don't get me wrong, but if anyone hasn't noticed, there's not one selfie on there unless there's a fish or dead animal in it. So that's just how I roll. But if you want to, like I said, if it takes hours to take all that content, to pose with your bow and to do all these things. Like, if you spent all that time, like, just work on your tracking, work on setting up some stands, scout some new land, get some permission. Like, I never wake up and don't call on a permission for somewhere. Like, I just, deep down what you're about. Let's be real. Like, like, everybody knows who they are at the end of the day. Like, I've never had to defend myself, like, it's just, people know, how you sleep at night, your morals, what you're going for, so.
Yeah, and not just to, like, I know we're talking about one gender because obviously Emily's here, but our gender too, like Instagram. Damien knows about it. Damien and Dave both know about it because they run a company. There's so many guys out there who are just fishing for pro staff positions and free kit. Like, it goes both ways, right?
It does.
100%.
So to me, like, I follow the people who I know who are genuine, and, like, I look at guys. I look at somebody like Steve Ranella. I'm not a huge big game hunter, but somebody like him who who is just like, in my opinion, the ultimate role model for if you ever want to be somebody involved in the outdoors, like follow him. Like he's where it's at, right? So, and then of course we talked about. I know I posted in the group. We talked about a good podcast episode, Joe Rogan podcast, where he had Steve Rinella, and they were talking about this very topic about the Instagram phase, and they brought up a good point. Like in the States, like 90% of the hunting licenses bought in the US are male. And you look, so because it's such a male driven dominated industry, there's that attraction to that female hunter, so there is kind of right. So there is that aspect to it for what, and like you said, sex sells, like let's be honest, like
every industry, like, and it's funny, like growing up from a motocross background, I remember really, really young, like I said, I was a bit of an ugly duckling. So I remember crying to my mom, being like, the Monster Energy girls were there and they were just beautiful. I remember crying, being like, Mom, like they're so pretty. Like all the guys were like wooing over them. And my mom's like, listen, Emily, in life, there's two types of girls. She goes, look at your fingernails. She goes, look at you. She's like, there's girls like you that are going to go out on that bike and going to go kick all those guys' asses that are wooing over those girls. She goes, and then there's girls that are going to look pretty and woo the boys. She goes, you can choose what you want to do and you can do both. She goes, but I think I'd much rather see you jump that tabletop. I'm like, let's give her, you know what I mean? Like, that's my style. Like, I just,
and look,
I
let's
don't
be
know.
honest.
Like I said, like, don't get me wrong. It hasn't crossed my mind thinking, like, so many people have said to me, which made me kind of rude, like, oh, if you just threw your bikini on for all your walleye pictures or whatever, like, you'd go viral. I'm like, but that's not me. That's not me. Like, I just don't, who cares about going viral? I got some self-respect still. Like, how much is your soul worth,
And let's be honest, all those Monster Energy girls, how many of them actually know how to start a dirt bike?
No. And my dad and I ended up actually roosting them. It got really muddy at the end of the race. And he goes, you want to roost all the girls and make yourself feel better? So I pretended to do a little squirrely and roost them with some mud. So I felt fine. I was like, okay, I feel better now.
Where does the key go?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, let's give her. It's like, no, honey, no.
Oh, sweetheart.
You brought up Steve Rinella, Ryan, and you're 100% right when you say what an amazing role model he is. And the only reason why I can say it is because one of my best friends, who is not a hunter, I would argue that he's almost anti-gun, or he was anti-firearms, the whole bit. And about 2-3 weeks ago, he texted me and he was like, you know what? He said, I think I'm gonna get my hunting license. And I'm like, what? Are you what the fuck happened to you? And he was like, well, he started watching Meat Eater. And that's 100%. He started watching it and he said, you know what? He said, this is pretty cool. And he was watching Steve Rinella and the whole and everything about Steve Rinella, right? Like from the beginning right to the end. And he just absolutely fell in love with that idea of the chase, the kill, the harvesting of it, the cleaning of it, and then preparing it for his family, right? Like just absolutely loves it. So yeah, that is such an amazing role model. Dave, I know you wanted to chime in there.
I was just gonna say, there's on Netflix, Steven Rinella has a new movie out, and it's definitely worth the watch for anyone that hunters, anti-hunters, anyone involved. Like it takes all the little clips that he's done throughout the years, and it just puts it all together. It's a really well thought out movie.
Cool.
What's it called?
Something about a starry night.
One fucking job.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny we bring this up.
Week.
It's funny we bring this up because I was actually watching Steve last night on Netflix.
Oh, Steve.
Doing a hunt.
Stars in the Sky. Stars in the Sky, a hunting story. That's what it is.
I might watch that tonight after we're done.
You should. It's good.
Nice romantic movie for you and Dana.
For me and the Crown Black. A big thank you to Mr. Coates. I decided to purchase some Crown Black, and this stuff is delish.
Mark, what are you pointing at?
So Ryan also brought up about fishing for pro staff. So if anybody out there in the millions of viewers right now, listeners, are wondering, Heron Game Calls put out their first duck call. So if you're looking for a pro staff position for duck golf, contact Kieran Game Calls
Yeah,
on Instagram
yeah.
or
Rusty.
Game Calls on Facebook,
Oh,
and Rusty will accommodate you.
He is taking applications, so
Yeah.
send him a minute 30 long sound file of your duck routine.
And you must also send a bikini picture of yourself,
Yes.
guys.
Make sure you let them know that it was the boys at the union that sent you.
Yeah.
Because
fuck. Poor Rusty.
it'll help you out a little bit in getting your application.
A couple extra
approved.
bonus points there. For
Yeah.
So Emily, what got you into actually hunting? My daughter's taking her hunting license next week, and she's kind of been spoiled all along because every time I take her out, we end up getting like turkey season. We walk out, we'll walk in, we'll set up, and she'll fall asleep. I'll wake her up, I'll shoot the bird, and we'll be done every single time with her. But with my son, like
Yeah.
we go out 8 or 10 times and we don't see nothing. And
Yeah.
I think she's kind of been spoiled. So I'm wondering what got your interest in hunting, and then what kept your interest.
Well, that's it. Well, she's a good luck charm, first of all, and second of all, well, for myself, like I said, like as young as I can remember, like I've always loved animals, and so that kind of like as young as I can remember, obsessed with animals, and so of course, as young, I started fishing. I was probably 5 or 6. We used to go camping every summer as a family. My parents are landscapers, so we kind of get a little bit of time to escape, and so I'd go out and snorkel and find some lures and, set up a tackle box. So it was always kind of self-driven. And then I decided to start hunting because I remember I was actually against hunting for the longest time. And then I was like 16 or something. And someone's like, well, why don't you just take the course and you learn about it, and you maybe might have another opinion because you'd be so good at it. You love to be outside. You're always shed hunting, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, like I said, so I took my license and I started with things I could do on my own. Cause like I said, my parents aren't hunters. So turkey hunting was a little bit easier for me because I had a lot near my house, and bow hunting for deer. I got a crossbow right away and bow hunt for deer. But yeah, like if you raised her in it, like she's definitely going to want to continue. And like you've shown her a good example, but she might have a tantrum if you get skunked a few times, but she'll get over it.
I think the first day we took Cade out, Damien, your boy,
Yeah.
for geese. I think he's hooked on that.
Yeah. The duck hunt in the morning wasn't so much fun for him, but the goose hunt in the afternoon certainly sealed the deal for him. And you know what, Dave, I think that the fact that you're just as excited over her getting her hunting license is what makes the difference, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of a battle too, because my wife takes her to get her nails done every couple weeks, and I'm here like, fucking get that shit off. We're going hunting, babe. Let's go.
Flare birds.
Yeah, no, but that in my opinion, that's the absolute, like that's the jackpot right there. You got a girl that'll be a girl, and then you got a girl that can also, get out there and get just as dirty as what the men can, right?
You want to encourage both sides, like, because
Yeah.
I know for myself growing up as a tomboy, like I always felt really uncomfortable with girl things. So like, for example, like wearing makeup or like any like girl stuff, which I should be comfortable with. Like, I just felt very like how a girl would feel walking into the gun store, I feel walking into like a makeup store sort of thing. So like, yeah, I would encourage like her girls, like, look at these nails. I decided I'm in off season. I put nails on and I already lost one coyote hunting yesterday. So you know what? It is what it is. And it's just, I don't know. It's good because you don't want her, you don't want her to be like so outdoorsy like me when I was young, that she's like such a little Neanderthal that I'd have to have a lock on my door so I wouldn't go out and catch toads at night, because I would go out with the flashlight and catch toads. So like, yeah, if you can raise her a bit of both, then you'll be perfect.
So Mark and I were part of a youth program in Renfrew County from probably about 2013 till about, well, Mark's still involved, but till about 2018 when I left. And I remember the last year that we did it, we had the most girls in the program. We usually take 20 kids every year, and I think it was 4 or 5 girls.
It was 5.
It was 5, yeah. This is the most girls we ever had in the program. So we always had onesies and twosies, but that year we had 5, and we were all, as like a committee, we were just pumped about it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But it was funny because on family day, they were just a pack. They were just like 5 girls going from station to station. And so me and Mark had put together a decoy and a duck calling station. And they had all come to the duck calling station. I'm just kind of giving instructions. They're all picking the calls up and they're just checking it out like most kids. And then one finally got the courage to put some air into it, and the other 4 would laugh at her. And then another one tried, and they're like, oh, and then before you know it, all 5 of them are trying it, and they were just completely hooked, and they picked it up really well.
Yeah.
Probably a lot better than the boys, actually, to be honest with you. But so so those girls were fortunate enough to have like a program like we do, but like, or they did at that time. So what do you say to girls who want to get into it, like especially young girls? These girls were like 12 to 15 at that time. What do you say to them? What's your biggest advice for them who just want to kind of like explore that kind of adventure?
I say my biggest advice is, number one, you don't need to come from, a hunting background to be able to be successful. Just like anything in life, whether you want to play piano or knit or hunt or blow goose call, it takes practice and it takes ups and downs, I guess. But like I said, like, don't be intimidated by, I guess, what you see as well. Like, you see everybody wearing Sitka head to toe and, looking cool and killing big bucks. But little do you know, maybe it was a high fence, and maybe, that was given away on a promo. So just, keep in mind what the reason you're getting into it, and just don't be intimidated, because it's supposed to be fun. Like, I think we all forget this is all supposed to be fun. And like, little girls are tough. The only ones who know how tough little girls are dads of little girls and little girls like me who've grown up now. So like, girls are just as tough. Like you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, 100%. And sounded like have fun.
Have fun. Like, just enjoy it.
Fun.
You're not having fun while you're doing it.
There's only one time this year that I haven't had fun hunting, and that was when my dog decided to retrieve decoys as opposed to ducks.
Oh.
That's because your dog's
Take the
not
switch.
brown.
That was a switch, and
if your dog was brown, it would be expected, right?
Oh my God.
If it was a brown, yeah.
Good game on the
I'll
brown
get
dog
back
thing.
here.
Yeah.
My dog's brown too, to be fair.
I don't know, but like, just whether it be, like I said, anybody starting out, I'm sure every single one of us behind the screen has had a time where we've gone hunting or fishing and just being like, what the hell are we doing? You just feel like you're walking around the bush aimlessly, or you're just driving your boat around. You have no clue. Like, everybody's been there, and like, you just need to push through that and just remember that everybody's been in those shoes, whether you're green, blue, black, a monkey, who cares? Like, like you persevere, you practice, and like, don't get me wrong, the first few times in the bush, you're gonna be like, what the hell am I doing? But you learn from that and you grow, and that's the only way you can get better, in my opinion.
And that's a good point too, because all too often, especially in this world that we're living in, where we get our justification and our feelings, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but we use social media so much, but it's always pictures of big piles. It's always these beautiful pictures of tons of birds down with a fantastic story to go with the picture.
Yeah.
Never do you hear, I had to slug for fucking 2 kilometers with a pile of gear on my back, and the rain was coming in sideways, and we never seen a fucking thing, and we were frozen to death. You don't see that. You don't hear that, right? It's always the really good pictures.
And uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. We lost Emily.
Yes.
The other thing that got me to stop posting to Instagram was that when Paul shot that banded mallard earlier this year, the day after, no shit, the day after, because someone recognized something in the background of his picture, the next day when we were there was just people hunting from shore, like,
really
no business being there doing that. Just people everywhere that day, and it died down pretty quick when they realized, like, to get to the good spot, it takes a bit of work. But like, when you post it, people are scouting using Instagram, and that's kind of, I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to step away for a moment to top up the Crown Black.
And
Holy
you,
fuck!
Jeff
Well,
Coates.
it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah,
go,
it's
"Hey,
okay.
Boom, boom.
that was very shallow and pedantic.
Why, thank you.
That was a shout out to Jeff Coates. Okay, don't piss on my cornflakes.
We should have placed about how many times you're gonna say Jeff Coates tonight.
Oh,
Hey.
we should have.
The Crown Black, it's delicious. I'll
I
be
like
back.
I want to see how much is left in that bottle by the end of the night.
I opened it. I opened it on this first glass, and
That was
there's
that.
there's a heavy dent.
Yeah, attaboy.
So we're talking
It's
about
delicious.
like flaring birds. On the weekend, I took out a couple more kids for the youth program we're doing up here,
Mhm.
and there was 2 birds coming from behind us, and I said, "All right, guys, there's 2 ducks. Get ready." And I'm looking at them, and I'm just watching them, and then all of a sudden, I just see them like flare the other way, and I'm like, "What in the hell just happened?" And I look over, and one of the kids had stood up, and they put their hand up to block the sun because they couldn't see, and they're doing this. And I started laughing, like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I can't see them," and he's like moving, he's waving at them.
It's
So
gone.
yeah, it was good. Like, I don't know, that's the most fun about taking kids out. Like, you get to see some of these things, and you got to explain it to them.
Yeah.
But then once that light switch hits, it's okay. I get it.
You know
Yeah.
what I noticed about guiding and doing youth hunts? It's the same thing. There's a lot of clients who are exactly like children. Like, hey, you have to close the doors. You've got to close the doors on the blinds. Am I right, Emily, or what?
Yeah, I was just hunting with some. I can rip on my buddies. I was just hunting with some buddies out here from Fort Francis. They came out to hunt with me for some cranes and stuff near the house there. And man, oh man, I said to the one guy, I'm literally just about ready to shoot myself. Like, I just so many like okay, common sense things that you would think were so common. So okay, so here's a perfect example. We get into this field, and it's very light stubble. Like, I'm talking 90% dirt, 10% stubble. So I said to him, grab a rake. We got to stub up the blinds because they were all peas. Rip all the peas off. Got to restub the blinds. I'm like, so if there's not enough here, it's very bare. If you can't find enough here, go across the road, because that's where the farmer was clearing the header and stuff. So there's huge piles of swath. So I'm like, it'll take you just as much time to walk over, like less time to walk over. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It was 100 yards to the road with the other field. So anyway, 40 minutes goes by. I'm setting all the decoys up, and I'm like, all right, man, how you make it out? And he goes, I have about a 16th of a bag. I was like, of a seed bag. I'm like, that's not enough. Get across the road. So then I started screaming at him. I was like, get across the road. So then he gets in the truck, he hops on the truck, starts booking it across like the road. But he, like, I told the guys when we got there, I'm checking the wind. I got to walk to the top of this hill, unload all the decoys as soon as we get here. The Tweedledee and Tweedledum only unloaded 2 seed bags. So the rest of all of our stuff was in the trailer that he took to go collect swath. I'm like, bring the trailer back. You know what I mean? Of course, his phone didn't work. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was out of words. I was like, I'm a chick, and I get this harder than you. Like, I know that's like really bad to say, but like, come on, man. Like, I'm shaking talking about it. I can't talk about it anymore. It made me so mad. I'm like, guys, like,
You need a drink.
cam up the blinds. They put in like 3 pieces of stubble in one strap. They're like, is that cammed? I'm like, no, like, come on.
Mark
Emily,
Fitch.
Emily,
Mark
you should
Fitch
go-
would not approve.
No.
You
You're
should
after
get
my
some
own
Crown
heart
Royal
there.
Black.
Yeah, you should.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get just a little Crown Royal Black. You'll be fine.
Oh, Jeff Coates would be proud.
Drives me crazy. It's like, and the guy goes, well, I've never set up in Saskatchewan for a specked and snow goose hunt before. I go, it's not about what we're hunting. It's about following instruction. Like,
But
it's simple
it fucking
instruction.
shows.
It's nothing
Yeah.
about hunting. Like, if I, you know.
For those of you who are listening and wondering, I can confirm Emily does talk to clients that way too.
No! Oh my God, no!
Emily,
Told the
if
first time.
this guiding outfit doesn't work out for you, you probably would have a very good career in the army, just yelling at people, just fucking scream at people for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh
remember-
my gosh!
You
like,
remember? You remember Ace Ventura Part 2? And he's like, he has to go. Ace, he's got to like, he's in the tribal village, and he's gonna like fight this guy. And this like Jack, like tribal guy comes out. He's
And
wearing
carrying
a
a basket. Yeah,
He's and then the little guy jumps out. That is Emily. Emily is the little guy who's like, yeah,
We call her a use of force option.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly.
Escalating. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. Like I knock on people's door for coyote permission and they're just like, look me up and down. They're like, I'm like, I have a semi-auto 223. I like to call them in and shoot them. And they're like looking behind me. I'm like, oh no, I'm by myself. Like, please, like, can I just go and shoot some? And they're like, can I see your gun? I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, come on. It's cool, you know?
You know
Like
what?
it's like so much fun.
I'll
I
show
will
you
say-
mine if you show me yours.
Yeah. Daryl was saying to me, he goes, Emily, we need to talk. And I'm like, oh God, what's up? He goes, I haven't heard you talk to one person since the fur's primed and haven't mentioned coyote hunting. Like I'll be at the gas station and be like, hey, how are you? Good. So you live close by? Yeah. I'm like, see any coyotes? You know, and Daryl's
Do you
like,
have
"Jess,
property?"
stop. Yeah. He goes, you've locked up all of the Southwest. Like you are fine. And I'm
So-
like,
funny Emily story. Like if there was ever an issue where we were having like, you know, the landowner was kind of like slightly hesitant to give permission, or he's like, I just don't allow hunting or whatever, you know, we would always send Emily because like me, Daryl, and Corbin don't look like Emily, first of all.
That's right. That's
And
right.
B,
How
she's got
so?
the gift. Well,
pretty close.
for those who log on to the YouTube channel, they'll quickly realize. And B, Emily could talk the ear off a deaf man, so she's got the gift of the gab in a good way. She's
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
So
I'm a talker.
we would send Emily, and permission would quickly, like a guy who hasn't given permission in 25 years, all of a sudden we have full permission to guide on this land. So
Hey.
hey, she was the secret weapon. So
Secret
Thank you,
weapon.
Ryan.
yeah.
So speaking of funny Emily stories, Emily, do you have any funny Ryan stories?
Yeah, please.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
Chicken
do
ball
Yeah.
share. Do
Well,
I
share.
do.
do
Yeah.
share.
I do.
Go ahead.
Tell as many as you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, like I said, I already told a wholesome Ryan story, which honestly I should probably tell it again. When Ryan joined the team at Ongaro's, like I said, it was my first season scout guiding. I don't come from a bird background. Claudio and Daryl said to me, listen, if you can prove to us that you're kind of interested and you're wanting to, you know, take the leap, then we'll take you on. So of course I was calling every day, practicing everything I could, going out hunting as much as I could. And anyway, long story short, I still had a little bit of a lack of confidence. So I'd often cry in the gas station. That was my number one crying spot. And Ryan would roll up always to find me hysterical because my bird split or something happened and whatever. So Ryan, like the one time I had this killer snow goose hunt, there's probably 40, 50K in there. And Ryan said, listen, will it make you feel better? Like take some stress off if I come help you set up. He goes, I know you know what you're doing, but let me just come and help you. And I said, okay, that's fantastic. So Ryan was such a gentleman. Like most dudes would walk in and be like, all right, boys, this is what we're doing. Like Ryan's like, Emily's the boss. Like we were whispering our plan. Like he just so much respect. Like I just thought that day, I'm like, man, like just such a gentleman, like such a man, like just honestly. So that was my good Ryan story. So now I'm going to rip on you.
Good.
But
Here we
uh,
go.
'Cause I was
Ryan,
like, that's
I don't know
not
if
the story
Daryl
Dave just went
Daryl
for.
said the same, but it's definitely going to be about the treats. Like our cars would be full of chocolate bar wrappers. Like all of our cars would have so many wrappers in them. But Ryan would still eat so many desserts because Michelle is such a healthy eater. And so many would just go crazy. I'm so sorry.
We
No,
all
that's-
know.
we all know it.
We all
We
know
all know.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan has a
Yeah,
sweet
so like
tooth.
the puffs, like the little cream filled puffs, like he would eat them by the double dozen, like more as many like honker decoys I put out, he would eat puff balls and like eclairs as well. And
A snow
that
goose
was really
bread.
funny, I thought,
Oh.
because like my dad does the same thing, like he just murders desserts. So I just really like that. But yeah, that's my funny Ryan story.
So,
And
Emily,
crying in the gas station.
So Emily, the Chinese restaurant that's just down from
Ooh.
the house there. When
Yeah.
we were out, when was that? Like 2016, Mark? Or
Something like
Yeah, I
that,
guess so.
Yeah,
15,
whenever it was. I promise you that we walked in one night and the gentleman who was like in the back cooking, he let out us like this. We're not going to make money tonight. and the amount of food, like I could put away some groceries,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but Ryan, it was just, I'm like, there's no way you can eat all
Unreal.
that food. There's no way you can eat. So
Unreal.
we just call him now the chicken ball man because
So do we. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So do
those
we.
chicken balls are the size of softballs too.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
Daryl took me back there, and like, what was
They
that?
refused you service.
Well, last year, and there was like one of those old Western wanted photos. There was like a picture of me up there for like $2,500. And I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? So I put on a mustache and just
Mm.
chow down. But
Yeah.
Every time
Ryan's
we have
that guy that-
Chinese food, we send you a picture, Ryan. Daryl and I, without fail, every time we eat
I
Chinese
know.
food, which is quite often, we send Ryan a video. We're like, yeah.
I get
Like,
every time you guys go there, I get a DM. Or if you go for butter chicken in that other town, like, oh,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wicked.
oh yeah.
Ryan should do those.
Heck
Have you ever
yeah,
seen those like
so good.
challenge meals? Like
No.
a full pound burger with a full pound of fucking potato chips.
Oh yeah.
And people like, if you eat them, you get a T-shirt. Ryan walks into those restaurants and they're like, "No sir, no sir."
oh, buddy,
They
Just
give him
no.
the whole restaurant. He gets
I have a
deeds to the
closet
whole
of
place
pictures.
because he's like, you win.
It'd be like Homer at that all-you-could-eat
Oh,
fish
Jar is
place.
a morbid feeding machine.
Is a remorseless eating machine.
Yes.
Is no man.
The first time I ever hunted with Mark, we hunted standing corn. And he brought this little red cooler, and I thought, oh, okay. He didn't bring a chair or anything, so he's going to sit on the cooler. And like, yeah, he sat on the cooler. But you open the cooler, and he's got like smoked Gouda and like summer sausage and pastrami's and crackers. I'm like, I just found the greatest hunting partner in North America.
I was gonna say Marco Cunha would be proud.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we never looked back since.
Victory
It was
for it.
perfect.
I like how your pinky is up while you're drinking your Crown Royal Black there, Phil. I'm not.
This is delicious. This is the first time I've had it, and then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. It ain't no bird dog peach. It ain't no bird dog apple.
How? So what happened for you to get on the Crown Royal Black?
Who'd you talk to?
Yeah.
Mr. Coates.
Oh,
Oh,
So I swung by the old LCBO yesterday, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this Crown Royal Black. I'm like, Jeff swears by. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try, and it's top shelf.
top shelf.
a couple weeks ago when we were at the when I was down in Kingston there hunting, the drink of the weekend was Crown Royal and tonics.
Interesting.
It was different.
Ew.
Like,
Tonic.
no, try it. You got to try it. It's something. I was like, no way, no fuck. Just give me a small one.
Yeah.
And then the first one I had, I like, that's great. I went back to what I normally drink, but it was good.
I drink gin and tonic a fair amount. I don't know what
Tonic tastes like TV static.
That's the best
It
description
That's
I've
does.
heard.
the best I've
It
ever
is.
heard. There's going to be a hashtag tomorrow.
That's our new T-shirt.
Yeah, it's hilarious coming from somebody who definitely gets ID'd every time they try to buy it.
They didn't do it the other day, and I was just mortified. I was like,
Or you went
Like,
home and like
what?
looked at the crow's
You're like-
teeth or what?
Yeah, she's like, I'm old. I'm
oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's like coyote
Yeah.
hunting's been stressful, but not that bad. I thought, but
It hasn't
Yeah, I
aged
don't
me
know.
that much.
yeah.
Hey,
I don't
So I know
about
your guys'
Corona
fishing guide season was obviously because of COVID was pretty barren, and I followed you guys on Instagram. You guys got lots of cool stuff done though. You made the most of it, built a friggin' runway for God's sake. But
Yeah.
what was it like for your waterfowl season this year? Like getting to actually hunt versus guide this year, and how was it?
Actually it was unreal. Like, as we keep mentioning, like for my first season, I was really nervous, and I realized that all I needed was just some time in the saddle, like just alone, without the pressure, without like, and like I said, I took my buddies out, and like, man, the one guy's a little thick, but it was good because it was fun. We were able to pick on each other, like, you know, and have fun and have laughs and like take risks that I normally wouldn't take with clients. Like, you know, and it, like I said, mostly just have fun and like no pressure. Like, for example, we're sitting in the blind, we're hunting cranes, we're covered in crickets, and the one kid goes, "Are these pine beetles?" I'm like, "Why the heck?" I'm like, "Listen, like, do you not hear them cricketing? Like they're chirping, like they're crickets, you know, like." But you know, just things like that. It just makes it more fun, and so yeah, like I really enjoyed it. And I actually got to hit up cranes a lot, and it was pretty special to be able. We got home from Hudson's Bay And right away I started hunting, and Daryl went to Alberta to film basically. And it was a good feeling to be able to hop in the CRV and know where all the birds were like already, you know what I mean? Rather than having to drive around aimlessly. Like I knew what fields would have birds, you know? So I just, you know, from last year. So it made it a lot easier. So no, it was good. Really good.
Emily, I know every year, I know that there's always improvements, and there's always, especially this year now where you're not really guiding. So you would have had a lot more time to spend at the lodge and doing your upkeep and getting ready for next year, even though this year's been a bit of a shit show. So is there anything coming up? Like what's the big improvements being done around the lodge this year?
So big improvements, I would say, there's quite a few things we've been working on. So we have a big dog kennel there, big enclosed building with a bunch of dog runs. So that's all finished up. So that's pretty big. So now we can have a space for all the guide dogs and the guest dogs. Just doing a bit of decorating over the other building. Sounds small, but you know, just kind of making it feel a little homier and that sort of thing. We've done a lot of improvements in the kitchen as well. I put up a whole bunch of new cupboards, and we actually Daryl's throwing a script at me. We actually threw some trout in the pond. We stocked the pond. We got an aerator, solar aerator, and threw some rainbow trout. So I don't know. We haven't seen any floaters, and I've been walking around, so I don't think that there's anything dead, but we'll find out when the ice comes. But anyway, so yeah, so they can fly fish a trout pond. They'll be pretty big by next year. They'll be like probably 25 inches or so. So we're gonna have some fly setups for the guys, and maybe thinking about doing as well some skeet throwing as well. So when the guys get the rental gun, they can actually take some rounds through it before they're in the field and you know, warm up and that sort of thing. And when Ryan gets them a limit in the morning and they're bored in the afternoon, they can just, you know, like so yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's just, you know, and just like little things, like I said, more furniture and just, you know, couches, you know, all sorts of upgrades.
You said you stocked a pond there with fish. Do you guys have a lot of herons out there?
No, thank goodness. They're actually my arch nemesis. So I remember I stocked my parents' pond back in Ontario before I turned the legal age of 18 to get in trouble for it, I guess. So I stocked it full of a whole bunch of stuff in the neighbor's pond, whatever. So I had a problem with herons there, but I just put out a decoy and they tend to stay away. But out here, we have some pigeons actually that have been coming to loaf, but other than that, there hasn't been anything bad. So I'm on patrol though. I keep an eye out. If I see anything that needs to be chased away, I'll go chase it away, you know, like so yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Phil time.
White space.
Phil's turn. Phil's turn.
Oh, Phil.
Phil's turn.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for like 45 minutes for this fucking moment.
Your poppy looks like a Price is Right name tag, for the record.
It looks like a brooch that my grandmother would wear.
Don't hate. I'm just super fucking proud. Anyways,
let's do it, Phil. Phil's gonna
explode. For Emily, here we go.
Okay.
So over the last I apologize now. This is me quasi long-winded. Over the last while, there's been this huge push towards like women's rights, women's equality. Like, as we know, like there's, you know, a number of, you know, professions and such that are male dominated. And since there's been more female presence, like mechanics, welders, guides, so forth, outdoor industry professionals and so on, and I feel it's actually great to see more and more women representing, you know, these professions. Like one of our huge supporters, Nicole Vachel, who's I believe a mechanic or diesel mechanic.
Yeah, diesel mechanic, I believe.
Diesel mechanic, yes.
Yeah, I believe
obviously
so.
A male dominated profession, and God bless
Big time.
for being that. And I'm all for women getting in there, getting their hands dirty, like female truck drivers, whatever. God bless them. And there's been this big push for, like, you know, the amalgamation, the breakdown of barriers, like even in the entertainment industry, like the word actress has been fucking axed. Like everyone's an actor, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like you're
Fair
part
enough.
of this group. This is what you do. And with us, we're hunters, but now there's this term that's come up, huntress, which I feel is like this huge wedge, and it's very divisive. It's basically like it's a huge insult and a fucking step back for everything that like, you know, you guys have been fighting for and pushing forward, this inclusiveness, and all this inclusiveness is now being forced on the back burner with this, you know, special term. Like, how do you feel? Like, what's your opinion on this word, huntress?
Well, yeah, like you said, like I feel like just as things start to kind of get on a level playing field, then all of a sudden, like, hate to say it, but women threw in the term huntress, and it just segregates it even more. Like, the way I look at it is, quite frankly, is a chimpanzee could probably fish. It doesn't matter what's in your pants. If you're fishing, you're therefore a fisherman. And if, you know, or an angler, whatever. Like, and so I personally don't like the term huntress, because, like, why do we need to separate ourselves, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So like I said, like, if, you know, if anything, you could teach anybody or anything to hold a rod and hook up on a fish. And, you know, why do you need to bring gender into that further? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. But maybe, like, I've seen in instances where there's some women, they really like that. Like, they like, oh, I'm a huntress. I'm a female. I'm different. Look at me. I'm so, you know what I mean? I'm so proactive. Like, I'm such a boy, you know? And then there's people that are like, no, like, it's the same. Like, I walk the same miles to get to the tree stand as Daryl does in the morning. So it's same. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
a hunter.
like,
I'm a hunter, and I'm an angler, and I'm a guide. Like, you know, there's no female
women,
guidess. Like, you know, like, what the hell is
women,
that? Like,
yeah, like, women as a whole have fought long and hard for, like, all this inclusiveness, and then we come into the outdoor industry, and you're completely and utterly separating yourselves from everyone. Like, it makes zero fucking
exactly.
sense.
That's what I mean. Exactly. It literally makes no sense. Exactly.
And
It's like,
let's be honest, like, and we can pick them apart like the fucking day is long. There's a number of women out there in the outdoor industry that are completely and utterly genuine. Like, they can hold their own, yourself included. Like, they know their head from a hole in the ground. You can set them free. They're gonna do their own fucking deal. They're gonna come back well fed and fucking whatever, right? And then there's the other masses where, like, fuck, they wouldn't know the proper end of the fucking barrel of a gun, for crying out loud. But you know what?
yeah.
They have nice hair, pretty eyes, and they look good in front of the camera. And you know what?
Yeah.
We'll just fucking coach you the rest of the way. You just stand there and look pretty, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Well, that does no fucking good to the industry, because you don't know fuck all. And I've
No.
seen these people at shows and stuff, and people approach them and ask them questions. They're like, yeah, go talk to that guy, because I don't know fuck all.
And you know, and it kind of makes me, as a woman, it affects me, because then when that happens in an instant, they come to me and they go, they don't take me seriously, because in turn, the last time they interacted with a female, it's such a bad taste in their mouth that they just make an assumption, which is what us humans do. But, like, for example, blowing a goose call or a duck call, a chimpanzee could do it if it wanted to learn. Or it doesn't matter who you are. I've seen kids blow hail notes better than any like male. Like, you know, it just, I find it frustrating, like, in the waterfowl sense, now that I've started guiding, because, like, it's every day I'll give her a rip, and I practice as much. And, like, I'm not an amazing caller, but, like, you know, I'm getting in my spit notes and some of my advanced notes now. And, like, I've offered to a few girls that have been like, oh, well, I really want to learn how to call or whatever. And I love it. I'm like, I'll do a free online class, like anything. Like, I want to encourage women to be able to be confident, go in there, but then it'll just be like, oh, well, my boyfriend knows, so he'll just teach me instead. Or, oh, it's okay, I just hunt with so-and-so who can call. It's like, you know, or they'll be like, oh, calling's not all hunting is about. It's like, no, but when you wanna, don't you love hunting so much you want to go explore every aspect, you know? Like, it's just, so if any women are listening out there, I would love to help some people, some women or kids want to learn how to call. Like,
That's
not the best,
really
but I'd be
cool.
happy to teach, you know?
That's really
And for the
cool.
record, Emily
Awesome.
can run a call, so she's one
Thanks,
of the
Ryan.
better ones. Not, and I'm not putting a gender to it. She's one of the better ones that I've been around who can run a call. So
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
and without sounding like too, I don't know, fucking weird, but are we not at the point and I am being 100% serious when I say this. It may sound fucked up when I say it, but are we not at the point where it shouldn't be a gender anymore? Like,
You would
really,
think.
like, so look at the news. So down in the States now, the new vice president, right? So it's big news over who the new vice president is. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
We're not sure if that's the vice president or not yet.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
It's rigged.
Right.
yeah,
Fraudulent.
Got it.
potential vice president.
The potential vice president. So there's a lot.
Allegedly.
It's not an ostrich.
Depends if you watch the news or not.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, so there's been a lot made up about the fact that I think she's Asian, she's African American. You know what I mean? So
Indian.
Indian.
It's
So wouldn't
Kamala.
it be awesome to be living in a world where and listen, all the props to her for being the potential vice president and shattering those barriers. But wouldn't it be awesome that we didn't have to say she's the first woman or that she's the first black, like, hey, she's the vice president and it doesn't have to be anything. It's, well, yeah, she did it and great, she done it. Because now with the world that we live in now, people are saying, well, she's a woman, so she got in because she's a woman, because society wants a woman in there. No, that's not that's not fair. You can't say that. You can't say that.
Yeah, well, they say that to me too. Like, people always say, well, you only have or sponsored because you're a girl. You only get spotlight on you because you're a girl. If it was a guy holding the same fish, you wouldn't get another, like, a second look. Like, like, it's like,
really,
people try to dismiss you like that all the time, and I don't know why. It's just like, but I kind of get it, because it's right. If I was some Neanderthal dude, then maybe I wouldn't. Probably right. Like, but it's just, I don't know. But for me, I was always raised without barriers and borders. Like, my mom being such
a badass
such a dude, yeah, like, such a badass, like, such a dude. Like my mom's always like he's picking on you, punch him in the face. So for me, like, I don't get it, and I obviously you don't get it because you weren't raised like that either. But for the people that maybe were raised with like misogynistic father or something, then they're just like, oh, well, this is so cool, she's a girl. But people like us, like, no, we've empowered women since day one. I've been empowered since day one. So what's the big issue? Like, it's normal for us, but then it's so easy to forget that just the short plane ride away other places, it's not the same. So yeah, I don't know, like, it's a tricky situation, because, like, I guess probably shouldn't say my political stance, but, like, obviously I wasn't thrilled, but, like, I don't know, it's just, woman or not, like, your job is your job. She's the vice president, whether you have a vagina or a penis, you are the vice president. So absolutely. Whether you sit down or stand up, I said this to my guest one time, whether you sit down or stand up, you're still a rookie. So just figure it out.
I'm not gonna lie. I sit down to pee first thing in the morning.
Oh, to make you feel better.
Phil.
I do too, just because I don't want to clean the bathroom.
Pretty much.
And to go with what you were saying there, Emily, did you watch those videos on people at, like, Trump rallies talking to the women there? Like, how do you feel about a woman president or a woman vice president? And they'd ask the guys, and the guys would be, like, offended by it. And then they'd ask the women, and the women, like, no, that's a man's job. And those are the Trump supporters. And I'm like,
really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It is ridiculous. Like,
there's a lot of people that need to wake up and realize this is the 21st fucking century.
Well, now I made the mistake and brought up, like, I do not want to go down that rabbit hole of the American election.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. We got our own problems.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I did see that, and it's just disgusting. Like, I honestly can't even put it into more words as such. Like, like, it would, to have a female obviously would be unreal, because it does, like, I don't care what anybody says, it breaks barriers. And, like, that's, like, we always say, like, there's two sides to the coin. There's the gender doesn't matter, we should just all be equal and this is great. And then there's the other side of, no, I'm one of the only Canadian waterfowl female guides. Like, I need to represent and I need to try to set an example to try to help others, you know, give it a try.
Absolutely.
So like, it's so hard because you're on like both sides. Because part of, like, growing up racing, I remember my first interview I ever did, I was like 6 years old or something. And I said, I hate that they say that I'm fast for a girl because I'm fast in general. Like, I'm just fast. Like, it doesn't matter, you know? So like, it's such a, you're so torn, you know, because you're like, girl power, do it. And then you're like, but I don't support, like, people are like, well, you should support all women in hunting. But I'm like, I don't support women making TikToks in their Sitka, because as a woman in the industry, like, we need to police each other, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, as the female hunter, she represents me and I represent her in the big picture. So like, I don't think it's like bullying or mean to say, hey, listen, like, you're making us females look stupid by doing your hair and makeup and jumping up and down in front of a camera in your garage with your gear. Like, you know, like, it's just, as a woman, that's not how I want to be portrayed. And that's not how I portray myself. So I just rather you not, but if that makes you happy, then yeah, go right ahead, I guess. Like,
Emily,
I don't know.
Oh, go for it, Mark.
I was gonna say, well, me and the wife went up to Elk Lake Lodge up in Elk Lake. I don't know if you know where Elk Lake is, but it's about 5.5 hours from where I live in Renfrew. And
Okay.
our last day there, I was going we were paying for our cottage and whatnot, and saying goodbye to the staff and everything. And this couple walks in, and it's they're dressed from head to toe in Sitka, up to fade. Like, this is, and layered up in it too, right? And I just look at him walk in, and I'm go, that's a lot of Sitka.
$12,000.
and she was we'll say, an attractive blonde lady with a full, like somebody say, a war paint. She had everything on for makeup. And they were wanting to go to the places where me and the wife had gone to get some brook trout. And I was explaining to them where it was, and the whole time I'm thinking, the makeup that's on her face is going to be destroyed by the time she gets there, because it's a bag drive. She's going to be sweating her ass off, and it's not going to be pretty when she's done. I don't know how the photos are going to turn out if they get any fish, but that's what I was thinking about while I'm having the conversation with the two of them. But anyway.
I know, I try to fish with, you know, it's funny. I said to Daryl one time, I'm like, listen, I'm sick of being a little boy. I want to start to look a little bit prettier on my Instagram, because, like, obviously actions speak louder than words. I got all my fish. Why do I need to look like a 10-year-old boy? I'll just brush my hair. So then I tried to fish my hair down one time. It was like 10 minutes in. Mascara's running in your eye. You get a drip of water. It sticks to your eyeball. Like, it's too much. So like I said, I shout out to all the young girls out there. Like, if you see it on Instagram, like, it's called a photo shoot for a reason. Like, it's a photo shoot. Like, trust me, like, it's impossible. Like, you know, Midwest Fisher Girl, I don't know, she's kind of she's a fisherman. She's unreal, but we always joke about that. Like, how do you hunt and fish with your hair down? Like, that's the question we'll always ask. Like, I don't know. Like,
Emily, you know, it would really make me feel good to know that there are some young girls that are, or inexperienced girls that are listening to the show, but I'm not so certain that
I don't know.
But let's say
I doubt it.
No
people.
No, but
watching Phil.
Bit of cussing.
But now, and let's just say that there is a young girl that's listening, and they're listening to what you're saying, and they had that aha moment. They're like, you know what? If fucking Emily can do this, then I can fucking do this. What would be your first bit of advice you would give any young girl that's looking at, you know, carving the same path that you have?
I'd say just do it. Like, Nike, just do it. Like, honestly, anybody, I have messages every day. Everybody, how do you guide? You live the dream, like, to be able to guide full time, you know, this and that. And it's like, just do it. Like, I wasn't raised in this. Nobody handed me an opportunity. Like, volunteer. If you don't have any credentials on your resume, go volunteer with your local fisheries, go stock, you know, do what you need to do to get where you need to be, you know, and like, you just get out there. Like, the other day I was coyote hunting. It's so windy. Like, I just thought to myself, oh, I'm not set up right. Am I wasting my time? I thought, No, I'm not going to learn anything sitting on the couch. At least if I'm not seeing anything, at least I tried. So just try. I went years before. I remember for my first probably 6-7 years of fishing, if I just caught anything, I was happy. Or if I was hunting, if any doe I saw, I'd shoot it. But then, time goes on and you learn, your expectations grow, and every step at a time, little baby steps,
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you're a sponsored, I guess, fisherman, fisher person, whatever the fuck word we want to use for that.
Yeah.
But
Anglers.
what?
Anglers.
Anglers, yeah.
Oh,
not angler, anglers, yeah.
Anglers. But we see it, and I know you see it, and Daryl sees it, and stuff. But we see it so much now. Like my kids, thankfully, they don't say it, but their friends, their goals when they grow up is they want to be influencers. That's like my son's buddy. That's what he wants to be when he grows up, is an influencer. So everybody is drawn to this social media where you get free shit given to you, and you know what I mean? And
yeah.
And the point I'm trying to get at is yeah, you are sponsored, but that doesn't happen overnight. And that doesn't happen.
You don't start off, don't start off with an amazing contract. You don't start off like I said, I remember being with Rapala was always my dream ever since I was younger. Like not even being just getting a discount, even not even being on pro stuff, just being able to just kind of even just silently be on the team and just get a little discount behind the scenes, like just, and so for myself, like, I know sorry, I totally lost my train of thought there. With the sponsorship, sorry, I started my contract off and I was like, I was a little disappointed. I was like, okay, but you just need to prove yourself because you see the potential in yourself. But unfortunately, I don't think other people see it as much as you do. So like Daryl and I were talking about this the other day. Like, so when in doubt, just grind it out. So like my mentality is from the beginning, I just post trophies and I just post hunting and fishing. And like, if people want to come on board with me and join this journey, and it's obviously very mutually beneficial, then I'm very interested. But like, I love Rapala and I have them as my one sponsor. But other than that, like people say to me, why don't you apply to a million pro staffs and this and that? I'm like, because I am a hunter. I am not an essay writer or a product reviewman, or I am a hunter. And so yeah, I love Rapala. They treat me great. Like all the boys from down home, like, yo, I just love them. But like, it's just, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not here for the internet. I'm here to go hunting. And I said this the other day, a post that I made, like Instagram for me is so fun because I can talk to people every day that hunt coyotes every day and hunt deer every day and like are in the same respects as me and like all my buddies. And then it's like, look for the good in that, like it should be a place where we share our stories and have fun and like, like share our successes and like, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to sell everything every post you make. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and I just don't go down that road and I don't want to. Like, Febreze offered me a collab. I'm like, Febreze? But like, come on.
You should have at least seen like, okay, what kind of commercial are you doing? Like, am I catching a fish and spraying it with Febreze? Or
like, you need to place it. I'm like, what? So I'm just fishing in my boat and I just have my Febreze. Like, Febreze is my arch nemesis because when I used to deer hunt back in Ontario, my mom would Febreze everything, and I'd be like, don't touch the closet. And she'd be like, going to open the door, she'd be like, smells like estrus. I'm like, don't Febreze. So Febreze. No offense, Febreze, but I don't like you, so I'm not.
Really, it's just gonna be you opening up the truck door after Ryan's been in there with all the chocolate bar wrappers on. It's like,
She's got Febreze. She's got Febreze locked up. I got Snickers. Snickers.
Like unbelievable. I'm like, no, like it just makes me cringe every time you're like, check out this doe I shot in my boots, 30% off, my hat, 10% off, my shirt, 6% off, like my eyelashes, 95% off. It's like, holy shit. Like,
but
Jesus Christ, you shot a doe for God's sakes. Like, relax.
And it was Carlin and Ian when they came on one of the very first episodes we had done, and they're a very popular crew here in Ontario, and they're backed by 1,000 different sponsors because they just hit the whole gamut of anything outdoors, right? And we were chatting with them, and they've got their own little YouTube channel, and they've got their social media and stuff. And we were talking to them, and they started talking about, you know, the shows and all of these pro staffs and stuff. Like, it's a lot of work as well. Like, it's like these companies aren't just, hey, here, take this jacket and wear it. There's a fair amount of work that comes with this, right? So, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is, like, a company like Febreze being a multi-million-dollar international, I would hazard to guess that you just standing with a bottle of Febreze was probably not going to cut it, not just one pitcher. You know what I mean? Because they would have demanded way more out of you.
Exactly. And like, that's the thing, like, people don't realize it's the commitment. Like, it's all well and good to have like somebody's name, like, you know, company name in your bio, or you feel really cool because you got, you know, someone, you're backing someone or whatever. But at the end of the day, I learned this from racing dirt bikes, like, don't sell yourself short, you know. And I notice a lot of people, they start fishing and then they automatically start looking for pro staff like 2 weeks after starting fishing. And it's like, I don't know, if people are willing to take 5% off in a sticker, then why wouldn't the companies take advantage of it, I suppose. So maybe people in general just need to maybe not raise their standards, but just kind of know their worth, like know what you're worth. And it's okay to hold out and just wait till you find a company that morals align, and, you know, so
people will sell their fucking soul.
Oh, it's disgusting. Yeah.
Sticker.
I think you got offered it because you live with me, Daryl, and Corbin for all those days in the lodge.
Probably. Oh my God, in the basement. Yeah,
well, I was thinking that Febreze were like, here's our commercial. Emily walks into the hunt lodge, and he was like, "You guys are a bunch of fucking pigs," and she's just
praying.
That is like a day in the life. It's like we're sitting around doing nothing, and she's like kicking her arse across the floor.
This place stinks.
I thought Daryl was in charge. Why is Emily bossing us around?
Ryan, why aren't the guns clean? You're like, Emily, we've been up for 5 minutes. And I'm like, but I want to sleep. And honestly, all of my bitchiness comes because I want to sleep. Like, I want to sleep. If we have one day off, I love sleeping. Like, if I didn't get woken up when I was born, I'd still be sleeping. So, like, you know, like, if messing around is going to take 20 minutes of my sleeping, I'm not happy. Plus, remember when we had a full house and we ran out of hot water, Ryan? Were you there at that time or no? Oh, I just lost it. Oh, sure. I lost it. You would have remembered.
I don't want to say I was there now. I have no recollection of the event in question.
You can't run a hot lodge with no hot water.
Oh.
I think I would have remembered this.
Yeah, I lost it. I was so mad.
I bet. God. I would.
I just wanted to sleep.
We would go to the field, and we'd have like the showers and stuff out in the field when I'd be in the army. And I'd always let the young fellas, like everybody else, I would always be the last one to go shower in the evening, right?
Yeah.
If I fucking got down there and there was no hot water.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Someone was getting it the next day. I can promise you that. Yeah.
Amen. Like,
big time.
It's like, you know, it's just, you get so, like, you get kind of burnt out, like, especially, like, the season was pretty back-to-back for me. Like, I did, like, the 92 days of fishing season straight of, I didn't have a single day off. I had 1 day off, I think, because I had food poisoning or something. But then, like, whatever, and then, you know, like, and then straight into waterfowl season, and it just, you get so tired, like, but having a good crew, like, obviously, Daryl and I obviously are going to last forever if we can damn handle this, but having a good crew, like, that you're able to joke around with and have fun and stuff, and, you know, give each other shit, like, you know, you're able to blow off some steam, and it just makes it so worth it. Like, as soon as everybody left, believe it or not, Ryan, I was like, we do that again? And Daryl's like, are you serious? Like, you hated it. And I was like, no, I just, it's just a lot, it's a lot, but it's all good now. It's so much fun. Like, I'm really disappointed we didn't have a season this year.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So
Big time.
yeah.
Well, Emily, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. We're over our 60 minutes that we try to stick to, and I think we could probably keep going for another hour. The way that we're going here. But I really, really do want to thank you for coming on, because I know you guys are busy and you got a lot of stuff on the go, and there's a time difference and everything. So I really do appreciate it, and I really do appreciate the insight that you put out, and your thoughts and your ideas on things, because it's good to see that you think the same way as we do. And that's sort of some justification on our end.
Yeah.
I'll give you a minute to give your final words, but we'll just go around the horn and just give the boys a final chance. Mark, anything, buddy?
No, good to meet you, Emily. Good show. It's good having you on. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hunting and fishing show?
Hired to Hunt.
Well done.
I should
The
have
other,
said
the other correct answer is the Union podcast.
That's
Yeah.
different. But it's a podcast. You asked
That's
me
right.
show. Well, it's a show, but
Yeah, I get you.
patent pending.
Both are correct.
No.
Philly?
Absolute pleasure to have you on, Emily. Great conversation. Is great to
Thank
hear
you.
your opinions on seeing the female side of obviously the male dominated sport. It's great to see you as active as and entrenched as you are in the sport and the activities and being part of Daryl. And I know I've known Daryl for a number of fucking years, and it's been an absolute pleasure to hunt with Daryl, and you're an absolute lucky gal. So keep it going and
Big time.
keep fighting, keep promoting the women in the sports, and it's an absolute honor to have you as a part of our industry.
Aw, thanks.
Dave?
Aw, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Emily, thanks for coming on. I was already talking to Ryan about it, but my son kind of just goes out hunting with me just every now and then. My daughter's always bugging me, let's go out. And when we always talk about this show, like who's coming on next, and I said, oh, this girl named Emily, and she's a guide, and she's probably one of the best female guides in North America. And my daughter's like, Dad, get me her autograph.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So
oh.
So don't be surprised if you have a little redhead tear messaging you someday.
Oh, bring her out in March for some ice fishing for pike. Like, I'm telling you, she would have a riot. Like, it's insane. Like, she would have so much fun, and your son too.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get off his computer for so long.
Yeah, throw it down the hole. We got a 12-inch auger. Just chuck it down the hole.
Ryan?
Kid, good to catch up as always. Obviously I missed our late night gas station bitch fests this year, but hopefully the world returns to somewhat normalcy in 2021, and I know we got a tight crew out west, and hopefully we get to reunite the second family and do what we love to do. And glad you got to come on and say your spiel. You are one of the better examples for young girls out there for what you do, so keep plugging what you plug, and just keep living the dream.
Thanks, buddy. You're the best. Thanks, Ryan.
Emily, do you have any last words?
Thanks for having me. I'm pretty honored, to be honest. I don't really consider myself much of a waterfowler yet. I still, I'm practicing and still learning and stuff, but I'm really hard on myself. So, who knows, and I'll accept this title. But no, I just really appreciate you guys having me on and and just supporting the cause, I guess. Like I said, like it's so many people, it's so easy to sit back and be like, oh, be a hater or whatever. But like, to support us women who are grinding it out and working hard in the industry. Like totally appreciate it. So hopefully I'll hunt with you guys soon, or go fishing or something, or do something fun. It'll be lots of laughs, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet. Emily, like I said, I can't thank you enough. I think you are an amazing role model and not only just for girls, because you touched on something tonight that even I don't even do enough of, and that's practicing my calls. And you are so dedicated to improving. You're a role model for men and women, not just because I really should be practicing more on my calls too. So you know what? A lot of really good lessons and a lot of really good advice on your part, and it crosses the gender barrier in my mind. Again, I can't thank you enough. It was awesome and it was a good laugh, and I really do appreciate it. For everybody that listens, and hopefully there's maybe some new listeners that'll come on because of Emily, but listen, we are exactly as advertised. I keep saying this. We are just a group of people that just love one another's company. And we have this common love of hunting waterfowl and shooting birds in the face. And that's who we are. And we are a community and blue collar and all of those catchphrases that are out there. We are who we are, and our opinions are our opinions. You don't have to agree with us, and we don't have to agree with you, but we can still be friends, and and I think Philly wants to say something. Go for it, Philly.
Just to bug you. In closing, obviously everyone knows these episodes are recorded kind of a couple days in advance and then posted on Monday. For those who don't know, today's Remembrance Day. Make a vet, take a first responder, veteran owned, Dixie Decoys veteran owned. Thank those fucking people for the country that you have.
Thanks, Philly. That's nice of you, buddy. You should have your own day too, Philly, but you won't, because you know what? People don't like cops.
No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. No, but you should. And my buddy reached out to me today and said the same thing, thank you. And I was like, I wish cops would have their own day too, but that'll never happen. Yeah. Emily, thanks so much. Everybody, happy Monday. You're going to be waking up and you're going to get this as as the newest episode of the Union. And I can't think of a better way to start your week than to listen to someone who is totally breaking the mold, and a pretty badass chick, if you ask me. You know what, Emily? I'm pretty I think I'm intimidated by you right now.
Stop! No, stop! No.
I've never ridden a motorcycle, and I'm pretty sure you're a better caller and hunter than I am. So
you're gonna make her blush, Damien.
No, I am honestly so hard. Like it's like so embarrassing. Stop. That's like the nicest thing. I'm not used to people being so nice to me. Oh my god.
Well, we'll end this right now.
Problem.
yeah, that's a Daryl problem. Anyways,
I'm dating Daryl. That's why.
That's so funny. Yeah. Awesome. You know what? Thank you so much again, Emily. And you know what? I hope you'll come back on the show again and chat with us and have a laugh and spread some more of your wisdom.
I'd be honored.
Awesome. Everybody, thanks so much to the crew. Thanks so much, everybody listening, to millions and millions of fans. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Big love. Stay safe. Take care of one another.